Welcome back to some professional Starcraft 2. Yes, the number one auto battler in the whole damn world. One that doesn't take unlocking loot boxes for cards of units from a game that makes you feel like you have friends, but instead makes you lose them just as quickly. No, it is Direct Strike, the number one game on the StarCraft 2 arcade, inspired spiritually, physically, and emotionally from Desert Strike of old. 3 players will enter the battlefield. They will mine minerals automagically, though in differing rates. They will pit their waves of units against their opponents, and they will do so with no RNG, but instead a true display of skill. How does Direct Strike work for the uninitiated? I have a feeling that many people watching this have played it. Probably, almost certainly, more than the latter. But Direct Strike is a wave defense game, but that simplifies it a bit much. You have units that work essentially the same as in your standard StarCraft 2. I'm paused here so we can go over it. You got Marauders, Marines, all those other spicy things. You decide where to place them on your staging area. Every 20 seconds, a wave spawns onto the field. In this fancy box here, you can tell because it is a box. The idea is to kill your opponent's base. Whether it is a planetary fortress or a nexus, they are functionally the same. It is just to distinguish between the teams. So, whatever race you pick, what your teammates are doing, what your enemies are doing, you don't actually have the ability. Okay, we'll go over why this looks like a Christmas, yeah, well, maybe not a, okay, let's go over, just we'll leave that for now. Over here. The placement of your units is very key, but you can replace the position of your units on a regular basis. You have a certain set of charges. This is mostly to make it so the game doesn't super lag. But you can replace the positioning of your units, and they will end up on the field the way you place them. Another important point is income. Income is gained via gas geysers. Yes, you get minerals from gas geysers. But they do take a time to pay off. So, it is important to note that each gas geyser, you'll see a red bar. This one is so you can't take it, but you'll see a red bar on the gas geysers. I don't think anyone took them early. It's essentially like expanding in standard StarCraft 2. Taking a gas geyser means you are potentially hurting your team because you won't be able to hold the center line. The center line is money. It's like king of the hill, but it's king of the line. Your base amount of income is, I believe, what is it, 9 per second? Why can't I select? Let me make sure. Oh, here we go. Maybe I should display the tooltips. Can we do that, guys? Jimmy, why would I ever want to? 7.5 minerals a second. Okay. Which comes out to 445 per minute. But, spoilers. God damn it, Jimmy. We got a long game ahead of us. It is just game 1, so we'll see everything. Wait, is that because we checked it here? I'll also go over the tournament rules as well. It's 450, not 45. Okay, just simmer down. Simmer down over there. The center line provides +1 income. Per second. Per second. What does that mean? Each gas geyser provides 0.5 minerals per second. Each one takes longer to pay for itself. So the middle line, not 1, but 2 gas geysers for each member of your team. That's 6 in total, which is more than 1. So if your 1 gas geyser causes your team to lose out on 6 gas geysers of income, you are hurting the team, you stupid noob. And that is why people yell at you. All right? So center line control. Another important point is your bunker or cannon, your tier 1 defense. This is essentially to stop cheeses, make the game, give you a little time to develop your strategy. But when it dies, nothing is defending your fortress beside your units, and it has a bounty of, I believe, 150 minerals, 150 or 200 minerals, which is essentially enough to pay for that extra income. So it is difficult to recover, especially early, when your opponents just push down your bunker. And certain units are better at dealing with the bunker, which doesn't work like a regular bunker. It has a lot of DPS and HP, so it's just kind of a placeholder as a level 1 defense. So, some strategies, and this is professional direct strike. There is money on the line, and I'm sure Twitch chat and the members of the teams will fill me in on exactly how much, because Jimmy should have given me that information beforehand, but I would have forgotten it anyways. But this tournament has run over the course of a month. $1,250 of prize pool. So, these nerds, this is serious business right here. You ever thought you could make money playing an arcade game? Well, you might be like, well, I played Dota on Warcraft 3, and I'm still not a professional Dota player. Well, that's not really what I meant, but but yeah, this is about as serious as it gets. On top of the fact that tournament winners and Patreon supporters do get themselves... Is there a place I could see the old tournament winners? I think these are mostly Patreon supporters. They do end up immortalized via units on the field, the battlefield of Direct Strike. Somewhere. There's a lot of stuff out there now. And also, just one last thing about Direct Strike before we get started. We get into the actual game. The premium version, you can level up. Gives you nothing but the ability to level up faster, get masteries, which are all cosmetics, different skins for your builder, which is just a placeholder to be able to play the game on the arcade. And then, if you really want to make your base look like a particularly shiny and FPS dropping Christmas tree, you can be like Grumpy Kitten's Kachar here. And show off. So for every, I don't know how many levels, but it's a pretty high amount of levels, which is a lot of games. You can add another building, which is entirely cosmetic. It is just to show how big your E-Peen is. And Kachar has possibly the biggest E-Peen. Actually, I want to go through this, because let me introduce the teams and their E-Peen sizes. For Team 1, Grumpy Kittens. Spawning as Protoss with the Kerrigan skin and the largest E-Peen in the game. It's Kachar. His teammate, I'm Sucks, with a lowly pylon and cannon, is Terran. With the builders are literally just skins. It could be 1 pixel, they could all be Zerglings, but he will be Terran. Little confusing. And then, with absolutely nothing adorning his base, function over form, over style, I don't know, substance, everything. Another Terran. It's Triss. And I want to point out, it is important the order in which they are, because each wave spawns one after another. There's no RNG here. That means Triss's wave will spawn, followed by I'm Sucks, followed by, or Sucks for short, followed by Kachar. And the placement of your units matters as well. Placing them at the front means they join the battle quickly. Placing them at the back means you're closest potentially to your next teammate's wave. So the positioning of units is almost always towards the front or the back with that in mind, since you're actually playing with a team. So Triss, putting him in front with I'm Sucks, some Reapers in the back we already see so far just a few seconds in. And then Kachar is opting for getting tier 2 first. One last mechanic. There are different tiers. They're kind of like upgrading a lair or a hive, or getting a Twilight Council kind of things, or just an armory as for each of the races. This unlocks the ability to scan for minerals, so it does cost you, and another tier of units. So it's kind of, you spend money to get those units. It's like Starcraft. You may have heard of that game. On the other side, spawning first, is a Zerg player. I hear we're going to see some new strategies. As Zerg, in team games and Direct Strike, has always been a bit of an odd race out. It doesn't have the same weaknesses it does in team games, where like you can literally creep all over your teammate's base and prevent them from building. But Zerg here to lead things off, followed by a Terran. Wait, who is it? Agreed! From Everyone Loves Joe. Is Joe on the team, or is Joe like an idea? Oh, wait. Here, okay. It didn't take long. Eskimo Joe. I could have figured that. Maybe I just finished introducing. And Nedved. So, Zerg Terran against Terran Protoss. Okay. With that, the game. We're gonna keep, let's make it epic. Good luck, he says. But not so epic that we lose. Do not expect this sort of chat in your average Direct Strike game. Just a warning. An upgrade was just built. The first wave is on the field. And for a few waves, we're just gonna let it play out. The Units tab, so since there is no production besides going up to the next tier, the Units tab kind of tells you what the players are focusing on. Mid control will be gained, and you can see the +1. Advantage goes to the kittens. Every time you hear one of those noises, another person putting a unit down, which I didn't think about. I mean, that's just how it is. Another thing is you can yeah, this is happening. They put their units on opposite sides, so they actually avoided each other. And since the Marauders went over the line first, that means Team Joe will get the income advantage for now until the Reapers are killed a little later. Another important point. You cannot manually move your units around on the field. But things like Blink, Corrosive Bile, Disruptor shots to some extent are manually microed in many cases. You can turn off the units will autocast their abilities, but that doesn't always give you the maximum benefit. Yeah, we see here some pretty great Corrosive Biles from Agreed. I'll spoil it right now. Almost all of the early abilities, especially things like Corrosive Bile, are manually controlled by the players. Which is why, despite being an auto battler, we have players at more APM than your average gold leaguer. Right now, Agreed and Joe, both at 80 APM. Of course, that also includes putting down units. But yeah, some things you can only do, like you can't permanently siege the Liberator. Oh, he definitely has it on manual control. Otherwise, abilities would already be cast here. He turned it off, and now the Ravens aren't running out ahead. He's using the auto turrets to stagger. Scrambles the Liberator as the team comes in. Agreed. 3 Corrosive Biles. And then a Dorito dusting. The control. But is it enough? That's a lot of bio units coming in. He's blunking forward. Manual blanks onto the field. And wait a second. Some cute moves from Team Joe. But with the blunks forward, down goes the bunker. Outmaneuvered. Yeah, Team Joe trying to be cute with all their spellcasters there, but a good old-fashioned punch and a blunk in the face. And suddenly the cannon goes down. Will that inspire gas geysers, or do they pour on the aggression? More units. They're using the money for more units. Ravens on either side, so regular TVT here, but scramble. Gonna wait out the anti-armor missile, and then the auto turrets underneath. Well, so much for that. Some beautiful Raven control, really. But a blunk! He can't, remember, you can't manually target fire your units, but they will attack the closest threat. So when he blunks under the Ravens, he avoids the auto turrets. Both sides, a whole lot of micro here, and that's all you gotta focus on. Oh, Corrosive Bile staggered out, but the Reaper Grenades, another thing to control. I say unironically, a lot of people might think it's not really an auto battler. You might be like, I want direct strike on my phone. Imagine microing like this on your phone, alright? This isn't Age of Empires 4. Though I still would like direct strike on my phone. Like, most players won't do that. Oh my god. Oh, I feel like he well, actually the other... Just completely negating the Liberators. Anti-armor missile comes in, though. The turret wars have begun. The scrambles on some. I don't know if he wasn't able to get the surface area on the ground, but anti-armor missile on the Ravagers. Corrosive Biles. Yeah, just assume all these abilities are manually controlled. And even if they aren't, we're going to give them the benefit of the doubt. Especially in the early game. As the armies get more complicated and larger, players will turn on autocast for some of the abilities, like, I imagine, Stim, and maybe later on Blink. The units will automate. If you see units blinking back when they lose shields, oh my god, what an... I wish my planetary fortresses had lasers. Anti-armor missiles, scrambles, interference matrices to lock them down. Ravens added in. Ravens is oh wow, Ravens combined with anti-armor missile. Anti-armor missile reduces the disruptor. So disruptors are a little weird. Disruptors can be manually fired, but you can't actually aim, per se. They will automatically go for high-value targets or for a large clump of units, but you cannot fire them, which is key, because otherwise they will automatically fire when they get into range, which you don't want them to kill 2 Ravagers when they could kill 10, or a big clump of Marines or something along those lines. Blinks into the liberation range to make sure the Marines stay there. Oh, by the way, any upgrade... Oh... Yeah, a few upgrades finished. As they've invested. I'm not sure what some of these are. Some of these... I'm not sure why there are Stepman upgrades in the mix. That might be a skin? But I could just click on the units. +2 Carapace. +1 attack. In the air, there's +1 attack, so really focused on ripping through with the anti-armor missile. Phoenixes have 2 attacks, so the anti-armor missile gets double value, picking up some of the Ravagers after finishing off the Ravens. It actually moves the Phoenix a little, so they can dodge the Corrosive Biles and pick up the Ravagers. Another line of Marines, but the Grumpy Kittens are bearing down. And right now, they've had the mid-income. Can we see units lost? That doesn't really say anything of value here. I don't know what I expected. Is that Ricky? But Swarm Host in this game mode definitely a little more viable than your average single Swarm Host in multiplayer. As the Swarm Host continually feedbacks. And a disruptor! Whoa! He found the timing. You'll see a lot of the extraneous units like off to the side to really find exactly when the opponents clump up. Yeah, the upgrades tab, you just click on the units, it's not that hard. +1/+1 on the bio, up against Triss's 2-1. Nothing in the air right now, but the Venn diagram of freedom means that they're tapping on the door of the planetary. It has a shield. The shield will regen, but the health will not if damaged. I want to point out now, this is the tournament edition of Direct Strike. Yes. And that means that after 40 minutes, whichever team has more income, or who has mined more, which means a combination of the center line and any gas geysers, wins the game. Otherwise, it could be an endless stalemate with computers breaking. So while not, like, there's no ideal solution for that, but if you've been in the lead, which is what that usually means, if you've been able to take the MiG control, which is most of it, and some extra gas geysers, you're probably eventually going to win. So that may end up factoring in. The swarm host is anti-disruptor. The swarm host will target... Oh, and Curse is a genius. Yeah, the disruptor has target priority. Before Ada, but it will try to target the higher value units. A bit of a missed. I don't know if he's still manually controlling on that, but it can maybe be a magnet for the Ruptor shots. Still scrambling. It seems to have evened out a bit here. One gas geyser on the field. Triss invested in one. But otherwise, nothing yet. +2 attack against +2 ship armor. Phoenixes with +2 air weapons. I think the Ravagers at this point are on auto... well, they'll shoot automatically. There's just too many shots to throw out. You can maybe try to manually do it, but there's an opportunity when they come off cooldown. But the amount of spell casting that needs to be done will be handled by the relatively intelligent AI. Liberators still doing what they do best. He has armor upgrades, a strong choice against especially Mass Marine auto turret, as the Liberators hit so hard already. Remember in StarCraft, weapon upgrades scale, though. The more damage a unit does, usually the more they get out of an upgrade, especially with bonus damage. The Liberator doesn't just get +1, it gets +5 with a ship weapons upgrade, which is why +2 ship weapons is a priority in multiplayer. That's because that allows you to 2-shot Stalkers and 1-shot Hydralisks most of the time. Of course, depending a little on armor and shield upgrades, but most of the time the opponents will be focusing on weapons as well. That is why weapons upgrades are usually the priority on anything that doesn't need to tank a bunch of hits. Thank you, Lubrissa. The stalemate continues. I'm just going to take a look at the armies. Ravager Muta. So this is a brute force, just like in multiplayer. This is a very win the beginning of a fight so you don't have to worry about the rest sort of army. It's for wiping out a huge wave of units. And then followed by the cleanup crew from Eskimo Joe, which is a bunch of Marine Marauder Raven. And then on the back line are a bunch of high-value, high-cooldown units from Nedved, which is a lot more of the army they want to push with. The longer these stay alive, the better they're going to do. You see the Ravagers here, knocking out the first wave. But on the other side, Triss, a bit of a mixed bag. 3 lines of Marines to avoid splash damage. Some spread-out Liberators with a handful of Ravens. And then in the back right corner, the pushing crew, Liberators from Sucks on the Grumpy Kittens. And then trying to catch up to them as quick as possible by putting at the front. This is ridiculous. This base... What are you, upgrading extended thermal lance from the end of time? Wait, does it actually have an animation where it builds stuff sometimes? What? That's pretty cool. I didn't even realize that. More animations than an AoE 4 building. Stop! Stop! Oh, did you... The sticky targeting on the disruptor there. Yeah, Kachar showing off his Epine, but let's see if that translates into his army. Let's see if I can find the, if I go to his builder, can I see the stats from here? Oh. Is there any way for me to access the stats without being a player from you Direct Strike Pros? Nope. That's unfortunate. While you're in the game, by the way, you can see the live scoreboard, which will show, I believe, units killed, and your percentage of units killed compared to your teammates. So you can see if you're the one being carried or not, and then complain to your teammates they aren't pulling their weight. That's very important. Your teammates need to know they're bad. That will always increase morale, and then they'll play better. So remember that. At this point, I think we're going to shift over to the standing army. The APMs have gone up as they continue to build. Like, over 1 action per second. Direct strike is not for slouches or phones. What is... Oh, that's how many units are on the field. We'll just stick with the income tab for now. When your wave is about to spawn, you have the buildings animate. That's actually sick. I've never noticed because I've been too busy losing. Disruptor looks for the mines. The air battle. Wave of feedbacks. Oh, the disruptor not going to cool down in time. A scan looking for the mines. And so far, the center line still being heavily and hotly and dramatically contested. I figured out how to cast. Alright. You just put it on this side of the screen. Are you really color commentating a Direct Strike game? You mean the Global Direct Strike League Grand International Finals? Between Grumpy Kittens and Everyone Loves Joe? The Grumpy Kittens, don't you know, are the 3-time Direct Strike League champions? You son of a bitch. Come on. Read a book. The Liberator, the Ravager count, they're actually aiming really well. I wish my Ravagers did this. The Ravager Corruptor combo. Oh wait, the turnaround! Everybody loves Joe, giving them a run for their cannon money. Is there a comeback mechanic? The comeback mechanic is being better. And recognizing the weakness of your opponent's composition. Which right now, rarely in public games do you come back from your cannon dying that quick. Like, the tier 1 defense for Everyone Loves Joe went down like 10 minutes ago, which is rarely a comeback potential situation. But the Ravagers have been clearing out all the kind of point defense units, and then the very expensive but very potent Terran combo here from Nedved. You see what's happening. This holds the line. The Ravagers come in and clear out. The unit composition. There is no Zerg on the Grumpy Kittens. The unit composition. Look at the waves of Biles. It's the unit composition that is allowing this. And the only real way to come back against a competent team is really solid coordination. Because otherwise, it'll be very easy for them to just kind of grind you down. And even then, you gotta remember, the waves spawn closer to your base. That's part of the comeback mechanic, is they have to walk across the field, or fly, or glide, or whatever the hell they do, or roll, or scamper, or waddle, or pound, or speed, or other travel-based words. So, as the enemy gets closer and closer to your base, your waves have a tendency to stack. And stacking is a big part of things. Your wave lasts until your wave spawns again, plus 20 seconds. So you can potentially have 2 armies on the field at once for a short time. It eventually times out, but so that means as you're defending, you have a better chance to build up a strong army. It's harder to maintain that momentum onto the other side. But right now, everyone loves Joe. The auto turret's coming in. The Zerg army getting cleared out. Carriers have arrived. Yeah, the units are the same as ladder. The costs of the units are adjusted because you're just using minerals to buy units. They're not exactly the same. Like, for example, things like Ghosts and Liberators are quite expensive compared to Marines because they're just incredibly strong because you can't target fire manually with things like Marines. But the way the units work and their stats, their attack, their armor, their upgrades are the same as in multiplayer. Look at these corrosive biles. They're doing a beautiful job. I mean, also, look at the Ravagers dying. That's also fun. I think it's kind of getting to a critical mass situation that the Ravagers are too thick. They're too thick! And they can't all jostle into position before the damage comes out. Like, there's a disruptor underneath. Oh my god. Scrambled libs. Unfortunately, the Protoss army turning things around. So now we've reached an impasse. Let's see. How many gases has this bought? There is 1 gas now for Amsucks. 102 Marines, by the way. Wait. That's not right. Is that right? Does he actually have 102? Wait, no, that's on the field. Wait. Is that right? No, that's not right. I don't know why. It says 102. Oh, it oh, I see. It's counted twice. Because it's the units on the field plus the units in the staging area. Ah. So sometimes it's right if all the units are dead. So he actually has 51 Marines, which seems more accurate. So, here is the issue. The Zerg army, for all its punching power, just like in multiplayer, doesn't have an amazing late game. There are Vipers, which are going to do a lot of damage and have a lot of utility, but they're very fragile and expensive. Thors, on the other hand, don't, pardon my French, but Thors don't fuck around. They do a lot of damage and have a lot of armor. Especially against the Zerg army. It takes a lot of corrosive biles. No French in this game. This is Age of Empires 16. This is one of the more even games. Well, I'll be honest. I'll be straight up with you guys. I haven't watched a ton of professional Direct Strike. Which, is more interesting than you thought coming into this. Don't lie. You're like, are we really watching Direct Strike? But is still like, it is not multiplayer. So it's definitely one of those you play more than you watch. And that's the beauty of it. Though it is interesting to see, especially the early game. At this point, we're just here for the blood and the gore, and anyone coming from AoE 4, look away, because this game has, it has red paint that each unit throws on the ground right before it dies, indicating its death. That's what's happening. I'm sorry. A lot of red paint. They all bring a spray can with them. If you're averse to red paint. Let's take a look. The Thors are fully kitted out here. No Liberator upgrades, but they do share the +3 mech armor. The carriers have +3 attack. Interceptors are untargetable, otherwise they die instantaneously. The carriers will be automatically... So interceptors being untargetable, it works both ways. What that means is the carriers will get targeted, but also the interceptors will not delay the killing of the carriers. Because in multiplayer, units will target interceptors in many cases. So there are some AI quirks like that for the sake of balance and just the game working. Also the choice for high impact mode. Remember, Thors have two choices. They got the big guns or the fancy guns. They got the impact cannons or the javelin missiles. You can tell by the guns on their back there, and they can switch in the field. But almost all of the time, the only time you really want to use the javelin missiles is against clumps of things like mutas, maybe phoenixes, possibly ravens, but the high impact cannons are usually more reliable. It does not affect their ground attack at all. They still have Thor's hammers. Yeah, very subtle. The Thors for Novad here with solid upgrades. I'm interested, because we only have one Zerg in the game. We also only have one Protoss, but they're going Sky Toss, so that's boring. The Zerg is the only one still mostly focused on a ground army, using Ravagers to counter essentially everything. They're evaporating pretty quick. Oh, Chris brought his builder onto the field. In order... Did you really just upgrade tier 3 midfield? Wow. What a power move. Or tier 4. Wait, what just got upgraded midfield? What just happened here? He upgraded his builder in the middle of the field where the enemy could see it. Either way, tier 4 is already up. So, Direct Strike features a little thing beyond multiplayer, which is tier 4. And so on and so forth. You continue upgrading, as you can see here, for a pretty significant cost: weapon, move, ability speed, and energy regen. So, it's not a huge increase and it's a big investment. But, if you're winning and you can't quite close it out, sometimes that can make the difference. Because if the enemy goes for it, then they're not building units. And if you have a stronger army, it helps you more. Because every unit gets slightly more weapon, move, ability, etc., etc. It's a marginal increase, but it's a game of margins. Yeah, with Liberators are all manually controlled. I don't know about at this point, but Liberators will take their time sieging up. When you manually control, there has to be an enemy, just like Blink or most of the other abilities, there has to be an enemy within a certain range. But you do get additional benefit from sieging manually, as opposed to letting the AI handle it. So that we saw a lot of that earlier. Right now it's kind of hard to see anything that's happening. Detail might. So far, we're at a stalemate, is what's happening. The armies are fighting to a standstill. I mean, the Grumpy Kittens are pushing forward. So remember, it's becoming more and more relevant. But remember, after 40 minutes, whoever has had more income will win the game. And that is almost certainly, based on their mid-control and the lack of gas on either side, the Grumpy Kittens. I'm rearranging so I can see all the glory and all the horror. It's kind of beautiful to watch. I will say, like, you can kind of just zone out and watch units die. And that's what most people use Direct Strike for. Not nearly as many are as sweaty as these nerds. But even today, even compared to some strategy games of the year, the animations hold up. I'm not even on max graphics, because I'll be honest, even my PC starts to lag at this stage with like 800 supply armies. So I'm only on high instead of extreme physics. But Jimmy... Come on. I'm not sure what the difference is, but I can feel the FPS drop. Oh yeah, there is another mode for those who don't know. Oh yeah, there's so many units I can't really see the details. So, yeah, that was like 15 FPS died right there. So, the battle contains some siege tanks added in. Interesting to see how the air and ground units interact. The thing is, the Ravagers can hit the air, but they won't get stuck on it, is a key point. Wait, do siege tanks do friendly fire in Direct Strike? Splash damage, for the most part, does not do friendly fire. You can't disrupt through your own units. Otherwise, it would break a lot of things. That is a key point. I'm pretty sure that siege tanks don't do friendly, but I'm not 100%. Siege tanks do friendly fire? As it should be. Alright, good to know. I believe that was tier 5 finishing now as the battle continues. They're holding. But it's almost 100% certain at this point that if we go to the time limit, the kittens will win based on income. They're pushing, but they can't quite grind through enough units to get to the planetary, especially with this meaty Zerg wave here. Oh yeah, for those who don't know, there is Commanders mode in Direct Strike, which implements Direct Strike Commanders, and honestly, I like it a lot more than playing co-op. I'm pretty sure everybody has the move speed upgrades. Those Thors are moving pretty quick. Yeah, Commanders mode is a ton of fun, and a lot less sweaty. Yeah, it looks so weird. Those Thors have plus 20% move and attack speed now. Thor stem! I have it on good authority that not all the games are this long. Is that correct? But if they are, we might have to rethink the methods we're using. Of course, the first game we're gonna watch all the way through. I was just considering. This is the only... No, stop spoiling it! No! In the Direct Strike League, we don't know it's 40 minutes. Notice how I said we don't know if they go this long. Not goes to the time limit. I said go this long. It's 33 minutes. But it still could go either way, guys. I do like the horizontal angle. It really gives you the feel of the battle. But my eyes are having trouble adjusting back to normal SC2 angle now. Yes, I'm okay. So this does go to 40 minutes. It almost looks sped up because of the double, the tier 2. It's getting a little ridiculous how fast those Thors are. Let's see. We are currently going to tier 3, which is going to be 30% extra move speed. I actually, in order, with the next tier upgrade, I'm gonna go to 2x. And then we'll just pretend it's canon. We got 44 seconds. It's always important to plan ahead. You can plan your income. Like you can see here, they're sitting on 500 or so a minute. So that's almost a minute of income. It's over a minute for Everyone Loves Joe. Why does everyone love Joe? Nobody's answered this question. Jimmy, game is loud. There's too many things dying. All right. I believe we're about to start the strike weaponry upgrade. Let's see it. No, went for the Ruptors. Somebody went for it. Anyways, 2x. There it is. As you can tell, the game speeds up dramatically with the next tier. At this point, I think both teams realizing we're at a bit of a stalemate. So this is what, just have this in your mind as a late game army. Oh wait, not quite enough. An air army has trouble breaking through and actually winning the game, is part of the problem here. Another power move. Wow, that Zerg army getting absolutely obliterated. And the waves continue, and death continues to be dealt. How many units have been lost? Several thousand. It's actually Joe himself. Everyone loves him because he donates so many units to the cause. Losing the most so far. Therefore having the most in his army, which is 2,300 units. And counting. Closely matched by the other player with Mass Marine. Marines, the expendables here. Which is, Triss. For the Grumpy Kittens. Are we at tier 3 now? Oh my god. I bet both teams wondering if this is... That was almost a win right there, but I bet both teams wondering, are we really going to do this for 7 games? But I have it on good authority, we won't. Hmm. 40 minutes. Okay, we're gonna slow it down. I don't know what happens now. I remember some of it was the load time of the game. The tournament has reached timeout. Triss's team has collected not that many, 3,200 more minerals. Oh, there's even like a prompt thing. The match will now end in their favor. So the Grumpy Kittens maintain control over the battle. And honestly, they were kind of close to just outright winning. A solid hold, I will say. A dramatic hold from Everyone Loves Joe. I didn't think they'd turn it around after, because in public games, without coordination and with angry people, there's a lot of time to type. But they do turn it around with solid coordination and a good unit composition. The Zerg getting involved. Let's go back to the spawning pool and see what's up next. If you have any questions that are answered by the pros who are mostly in the chat right now, I will try to say for posterity, so that way anyone watching a later version of this can find out as well. Is this AoE 4? No, this is a modern RTS. Game 2, same map. All of them are the same map. That's a joke. The Grumpy Kittens spawning in the same order, though... Wait, no, not the same order. This time, we have Kachar as Protoss again. We got Triss leading as Terran. Having a role, like, the actual role and which level of the wave you play is also very relevant. I don't know if people practice their particular role like the starter, but we do have Agreed starting again as Zerg. Nedved, second as Terran. Eskimo Joe in the third slot as Terran as well. So we got Zerg, Terran up against Terran, Protoss, Terran. Terran, heavily represented. I'm interested to see why Nedved has 700 minerals here. He's built... Oh, I gotta say, while Kachar may have the largest EP, I think Nedved has used his the best. All right. He's holding on to 1,000 minerals. I don't know what he's like. Holding on to your minerals is just like regular SC2. He's building Marauders in a stagger formation. I thought he was Protoss because of the Phoenix skin, but... Wow, he actually threw a bunch of bio out there. Oh, he's fighting into Stalkers. The Stalkers do not have Blink. Did he get concussive? We're about to find out. Wait, what? They're not gonna walk away? I'm stupid. If they don't have Blink, what would concussive do? I'm sorry. I was thinking like he was gonna micro back the Stalkers. Reflexes kicked in, my bad. Stalkers won't go back. This is direct strike. Concussive not very important there. Maybe important against like Zealots or something, but... It appears that he waited to see what he was facing, indeed. And with it, his team, this time, Joe and his friends, who everyone loves, will take control of mid early, and thus have a springboard of economy. That gives them another 50 minerals a minute, which adds up 150 extra a minute total across the team. It's like 10%. A little over 10% extra income. 2 gas gathers worth. A scan? Somebody has T2. Who is it? Wait, where's your builder? Let me click on you. Here. It is the Zerg who does. Wait, are Ravagers a T2 unit? It might require it right off the bat. Joe fighting it out with the Marines. He's got +1 attack. Does Sucks have +1? He has 1-1, but the unit count wasn't there. Staggering corrosive. Look at that. Staggering the... Wow. Wow. He's got 1-2. The corrosive bile stagger was perfect. And that actually drags everything down. Yeah, because they can't micro away unless they have something like Blink Stalkers or activatable abilities. The Ravagers are really ripping things open right now. Reapers making... Okay, so Reaper grenades are definitely a complicated... What a mess. The Terrans mixing in Reapers to just interrupt, not so much for damage, but for interrupting things. And interrupting Ravager is pretty important. If he misses a volley of... If he misses a volley and he just whiffs it, the Bio Army wins. Just like multiplayer, Bio way better. Though he does have the upgrades here. That is a key point. The corrosive biles, a huge part of the success of this. Agreed, agrees. And that opens up the opportunity for Nedved to come in with a whole bunch of bio. And that might be enough to punch down the cannon. They're targeting a Marauder on it, but the grenades interrupt. Okay. Sucks comes in with a whole lot of bio of his own, but he did stim a lot of it. I think he's on auto stim, which is whenever they engage. Oh my god, everybody dance now. Everybody dance now. Oh, a Liberator. Pings coming out. He sieges it at the back when within a certain range in order to try to make sure it lives. The corrosive biles will kind of nail down most of the bile. No friendly fire on corrosive biles, thankfully. He may be in range to bile down the cannon. He's firing it. It's not really worth it unless you're going to get the kill, though. 2 disruptors. He's holding on to the Ruptors, waiting for the shot. Flings it out. Hits the center mass. Is that enough to cut down the bio count and save the cannon? The Blankstalkers, he blunks into position, but a single Marauder at the back, and they get it. And there are the minerals for Team Joe. Just a vanguard of Reapers at the front. Oh my. Yeah, this is, Yeah, the Reaper versus Reaper battles are quite a thing. Oh, wow. The disruptor shots. He nailed down a disruptor. When it's firing, you can actually hit the biles, but... Oh, the blunk forward to buy time. Some Muta's getting involved. Disruptors hit the back line. The units are starting to stack up, but the cannon is down. So that is definitely a key point. Some more grenades in the front. Fair enough use. The Reaper grenades all over the place. Some Corruptors to help deal with the Liberators. Corrosive biles landing on the rest. The Blankstalkers have become meat shields, but they're pretty expensive for meat shields. Oh, he missed a shot! He missed a volley on the Ruptors, and that means... Oh, the Ruptor Micro? I don't know how much of that was sticky targeting, but he definitely missed some corrosive biles on the Disruptors, and that takes a lot of momentum out of the Terran army. That is the danger. But here come the Reapers from Joe. That's why everybody loves him. He's got +2. Triss, on the other hand, +2 plus... It's +2 +1 for Joe. Up against just +2 attack for Triss. And that means the Marine fight is won. The Reaper's even getting some grenades on the Nexus. Just a single. You gotta be careful not to bile it. He doesn't. Oh, wow. The disruptors, though. Ooh. Meaty chunks. The line will hold. He's going fishing. The disruptors take a while to time out if they don't have a target. There's another shot. Gets targeted. Just in time. Battlecruisers jump out of the Dorito dust. Oh, by the way, he sold everything for battlecruisers, which is a very bold move. We'll see if it pans out. I'm not... With a slight Dorito dusting, those battlecruisers become a lot more vulnerable to the Marines, especially with no splash damage underneath. That is an all-in play, because you don't sell for full price. Is Tier 1 70% cost? You still lose a ton of resources whenever you sell, especially that much. The Disruptor, sliding along a whole lot. He's really working the Ruptors now. Kachar with the curveball sliders. Does he have any more shots? They're coming off cooldown. They don't quite get there. The battlecruiser fleet. Will he jump out? Oh, I don't know about that one. That seems like a questionable tactical jump, and the base itself is now vulnerable. The Marauders are hitting it. Scrambles 3. He held on to the interference matrices. The battlecruisers, very dramatic, but I don't think it's gonna pan out. Yeah, he tried to predict the Raven abilities, but he just didn't cast them until after the jump. There's a bit of a overcommit. It's definitely trending in Joe's direction. A volley of Ruptors. Ooh, what actually happened there? Some of them hit. I think 1 or 2 died before they fired. If the Battlecruiser Liberator Skytoss army is allowed to come together, this actually could be a big issue for Everyone Loves Joe. The momentum, though, they don't seem to be able to get to the center line. There is a gas... No gas for Nedvin. Oh, yeah. This might be lights out. In fact, that jump encouraged extra Marines to be firing there. The Nexus itself in Trouble Town. Thor's pounding through. They don't care much about the anti-armor missile. There's not many good options here. You just gotta hope you line up the shots and the timing. The army, like, on paper, the Grumpy Kitten's army is better. It's just, there's a quality and quantity from Everyone Loves Joe. And right now, yeah, the Disruptor's not finding the juiciest of connections. A jump away back to the Nexus, but that does run the risk of drawing extra fire into the Nexus. So far, the battlecruisers hold. Anti-armor missile, though, slathered all over. Makes the Marines even better. They have +3, +2. Yamato cannon out. A set of scrambles. Yamatos as well, grinding through the Thors. The combo is there. You can see it. But is it enough? If the battlecruisers keep living through waves, suddenly, well, not so suddenly, eventually, drama can happen. They keep not dying. So this is a key point. Another volley of Ruptors. Ooh. A crisscross formation. And more battlecruisers on the field. What kind of upgrades do the cruisers have? They got +3 armor, +2 attack, so no pushovers. But they keep having to jump back to the Nexus. Oh my. The Nexus will hold the line. The next wave comes out. Volleys. Yamatos. Liberators helping as well. Battle cruisers not actually being targeted by corrosive bile, instead leaving that up to the corruptors, but that means all the ravagers die. I mean, the ravagers are going to die either way, but 4 disruptors survive. 2 of them off cooldown. There's only enough energy for 1 interference matrix here. For once, he doesn't feel the need to jump back. He might be able to jump back individual cruisers as they're dying, maximizing the damage. Oh, loses. He jumps the rest behind the lines. A bold jump. Yamato splits the damage across the Thors. Gonna drag the army away from the Nexus. A bold move, but I'm not sure if that was the play, as it's now gonna leave the Nexus wide open. Right as the next Protoss army, it's not gonna be able to get necessarily the juicy disruptor hits on the Ravagers. Unfortunately, oh no, the Corruptors. I think he misclicked. He has 1 caustic spray. I think he misclicked the rest of the Ruptors. Technically, the Ruptors could kill the Nexus, and of all ways to die. Corruptors are rarely a game-winning move. But this time, for Everyone Loves Joe, they seal the deal. All tied up. Game 3. Well, it was trending. It was trending in a certain direction. I think the battlecruiser jump was to see if maybe you could take the pressure off, but the battlecruisers were also the meat shields was the problem. Let's see the layout here. Who is this? Bring me your builder. Agreed. Wait, did they switch sides? No effect that the buildings are identical to my knowledge, but it appears they have switched sides. So now you will have Everyone Loves Joe on the southern side, working their way up. And then the Grumpy Kittens to the north. So, Joe second. Zerg, Terran, and Terran again for Nedved, following it up. On the other side, 4, the Grumpy Kittens, leading the charge. Triss as Terran. Following, Sucks as Terran. And once again, as Protoss, Kachar, and his collection. Oh my god. What do we have? Get rid of my upgrades tab thing. Okay, I fixed it. So last time momentum started with the Marauders punching through the Protoss army. The army of Stalkers. And that allowed the Ravagers to get a lot of damage. Ravagers not so great against Protoss. The Corrosive Bile doesn't really kill any units. But that one-shots Marines and Reapers and does a big number on Marauders. So that's why the Ravagers were so helpful there. I'm looking at the wrong side again. But it looks like we're going to see the same exchange. Guardian Shield, though. Adepts. Is that blink? There is no blink, but a hallucinated Archon. So hallucination is free. Yeah, that was not the crushing victory it was in the previous match. Hallucinations are free, and if there's no detection, since you can't retarget fire, they actually tank a lot of damage. Hallucinations take double damage, for those who don't know. That's how they have the same HP when you click on them, and attention to detail. They don't just have half HP, they take 200% damage, so you have to watch very closely to see if they're hallucinations. Also, they don't do damage to you, but there's no avoiding the hallucinations until you get detection in direct strike. So they also serve on top of the Guardian Shield as an extra buffer for your units. Not a ton, but it's something. I'm not sure if the hallucinations are being manually controlled, but either way. Any damage they absorb. Oh, was that a scan to counter the halluc? Oh my. Avoiding it entirely, as units know they shouldn't shoot at hallucinations. They should instead just leave the game, as is the customary response. The Grumpy Kitten's finding a lot more success than the previous match. Triss breaking through the Stalkers, surviving a while this time. Oh, the auto turret's way off to the side. I think trying to draw units further into Liberator range. A very dead one. Speaking of, that's a lot of Liberators. The Ravagers... Wait, did the Adept Shades just dodge the Corrosive Vials? Is there any canceling the Adept Shades? Oh my. Well, this is not going great for Everyone Loves Joe. They tried a very similar style to last game. The Grumpy Kittens have adapted. Yeah, this essentially the Everyone Loves Joe tried a very similar style to the previous game, and this is a very different response between the more meaty and survivable Protoss army and the instead of going mass bio, gone straight into the Sky Terran. Has sucks. Guardian Shield helps out against all range damage. Not ability damage. Doesn't help against Corrosive Bound. Not that it would be much anyways. The Blanc Stalkers coming forward. And this is looking very rough. They're already going to be hitting the Nexus. There's going to be damage on the Nexus here. I don't think that's enough to kill it. No gas geysers for the Kittens. They use the money to continue to keep on the momentum and use that mid bonus. Oh my god, the 2 Reapers for grenades to bounce them further away from the Liberators. What an army. Trying to juggle the Liberators in and out of liberation zones to keep them alive as long as possible. Auto turrets to draw fire. The Liberators sieging up right on top of the Nexus. Oh, beautiful disruptors. I love it when a plan comes together. Not enough, like, at this point, the unit count is not high enough to outright... Like, the Nexus does very sizable damage. But the momentum is there. The question will be, when is gas taken? Do they think they can win just continuing to build these units? Or are they going to play for a longer game? Mediocre disruptor hit. But the disruptors, anything that can be staggered like that is obviously, you can tell from these players, obviously the choice. You got Liberators, you got Reapers, you got Blink Stalkers, Ravagers, anything with an ability that can be oh my. I'll just shut up now. You can see. You see what's going on. You just saw that. That happened. I don't think that needed much explanation. The TPM raises instantaneously. Ghosts cannot use nukes, but they can use the rest of their abilities. To great effect. I think the reason we don't see more of them is because Ravens and Liberators are already so good. Terran has so many great... There's a reason that we're seeing 2 Terrans on each team, I think. It's because Terran has so many amazing stackable abilities with units that scale into the late game. I wonder if 3 Terran would be better than adding in a Protoss or Zerg to fulfill the diversity quota. But it appears these teams do like having their token off rate. Terran Imba! Liberators and Ravens are just a very microable and strong unit, abusing a lot of different things. Storms, feedback. Every Templar, well, they only have 2 abilities. The water balloons keep them at the back. They might be able to get more feedbacks as time goes on. Another... Ooh, tried to manually control into the center mass, but didn't quite find it. Oh, that storm kind of mediocre. I'm not sure if he's manually controlling. Well, that storm's very good. And with the combination, the units are kind of starting to get real spread out. The battle just continuing. No medevacs, another thing. Like, the Marines are there to die. We're not gonna heal them. Most of the stuff that happens will one-shot it anyways. The corrosive biles across the board, but don't quite find any kills. Can we get a gas update? Alright. Good question. 0. We're clean. No extra income across the board. They're both entirely focused on unit production. We see the token swarm host magnet. Gas adds plus 0.5 income per second. The center line adds 1 income per second for each team for free, which is why the center control is it's worth 6 gas geysers when you have it. That is why maintaining momentum is so important, and why both sides are fighting for it. Everyone loves Joe, has not had control of the center, but they do have a very strong army composition, which has allowed them to slowly push back. with the Ravagers clearing the field as much as they can with mass corrosive bile, and then following up with the Liberators and Ravens of Terran. It's not quite enough, but they may be able to tilt it back in their direction. Finally, gas control is remade, and that will put the income in favor for the first time in a while of Everyone Loves Joe. That storm. Yeah, the storms are on autocast. They're not finding the mark. Disruptors trying to aim for the back line. Additional Liberators. The autocast storms on Locust, though. Tut. I don't know. Missed opportunities. I'm not sure how much energy the feedback costs. And Everyone Loves Joe. Pushing forward. The Ravagers making all the Ravagers are quite a wild card here. The corrosive bile, like, Ravagers die very easily, and there's so many of them. I can't tell if it's better or worse that they're tripping over each other. Because the more corrosive biles they get, obviously the better it is. This army composition, oh my god, they're gonna get the bunker. And suddenly, just like that, in another round of Raven abilities, the feedback isn't strong enough to stop them. Eventually, the Ravens will get whittled down. But Stalkers don't have that much DPS, as I've told you so many times. The same stats as multiplayer, guys. Stalkers are just not very good. They're mostly meat shields now. The Liberators drawing a lot of the fire, and that means the Reapers and Marauders will run forward to their deaths. As will the Mutas and Corruptors as the waves start to get split. Oh, the Corrosive Biles missed the mark! A full volley behind the lines hitting nothing. Airballing it. And suddenly, well, you can see how that makes the difference. The auto turret wave clearing out the front, but the Liberators hitting everything on the ground. Anti-armor missile comes through, but there's nothing left to take advantage of it. I'm not sure how much of a difference. Oh my god, the Disruptors microed back, but then scrambled forth. He got so greedy with that Disruptor shot. The abilities, for the most part, especially key things like the Disruptor shots early on, are manually controlled. Not every ability is... Things like Liberators, Vipers, Disruptors are oftentimes player-controlled, which is why we're seeing more APM than most of the Meta Leagues right now in this match. Our blue Terran and yellow Terran, as well as the Zerg. Protoss with the lowest APM, as is appropriate. Not to judge, but definitely to judge. Disruptor shots. Whoa! A total whiff again! Yes. I know that these players are going to be like, but yeah, I hit some sometimes, and you're just pointing out the least important times. Actually, what's important is happening in the back, where you can see that we're really looking at... Okay. But they missed, though, and that's what's important here. They missed. Let's see what the Viper ends up doing. Blinding Cloud. Well, Parasitic Bomb is the premium choice. It takes some time to build up to it. There's no feedback on the field. The Vipers just die without casting anything, which is not the ideal here. The Vipers just dying without any ability usage seems like a bit less than ideal. I'm not sure how much exactly they cost, but they're obviously on manually not controlled. A few Viper spells, definitely like that. I'm kind of just glossing over it. They're knocking on the door. The planetary is now getting involved. A blinding cloud or some really juicy parasitic bombs could definitely make the difference. Even a few abducts. The Thors are pounding on each other at the front door of the Grumpy Kitten's planetary. They're right here. Here comes the wave of their corrosive biles across the bow. The Liberators must hold. The Ravagers are in bile range. Parasitic bomb not really finding the juiciest. Oh, they're shooting it down. They turned it all around, the Liberators, at half HP. Oh, anti-armor missile across the board. The entire bag. Family-sized Dorito dust. Oh, the Ravagers didn't quite have the DPS. Will this turn now? They still have the last crumbs of the Dorito dust for the start of the wave, but when you don't kill the base and you expend that much DPS on it, the waves tend to stack. And that means now the Grumpy Kittens will be fighting back with multiple. The Liberators are actually timing out. They've been around. This is the first time we've seen it in the tournament, is units timing out as opposed to dying. It looks like most of them will die before the full timeout, but he's got 2 armies on the field now. How many gas? Still 0. Oh, and by 0, I mean 1. Nedved has invested in 1. That's it across the board. Will that make the difference either way? Well, the Disruptor curves in and hooks a Marauder, which is not the ideal. Anti-armor missile doesn't really find much. But the Terran army just tearing up the carriers. They were so close. The fact that the planetaries at both sides have lost HP on their base. Yes, it was 50 HP for Everyone Loves Joe. But still, the fact that this has happened at all. The corrosive biles, they were looking good, but the Liberators are well stacked with a lot in front of them. Has he actually laid out his wave? No, it's about even across the board, but the Liberators are all stacked up to one side, and the Ravagers simply cannot be, because they are bound by terrestrial restrictions, like not being able to fly over each other. The anti-armor missile doesn't matter if you have nothing to shoot. But Thor's weapons of choice on either side. The Zerg waves definitely seem... The Zerg doing just what they do in multiplayer. They try to win the start of the fight so hard that you clear the rest of it. Because the longer the fight goes on, usually the worse Zerg is. Oh, be careful! Parasitic bomb on one Liberator. I really feel that blinding cloud. Like, not to be a backseat gamer, I'm front seat gamer. But blinding cloud definitely has some use against Thors, which have trouble with tripping over their own knees as well. A blinding cloud to the back, pushing him forward out of Liberator range. But of course, there's a whole field to work with, so... And clearing the air is very much important. The mid-line has been retaken by the Grumpy Kittens. We're gonna try out... Jimmy! We're gonna try out some cinematic mode, to borrow a game's phrasing. Put this one on the box. People don't buy boxes anymore. It's 2021. Full cinema.
sand socks, and I'm bringing them home to you. Roto, pickup, shovel, bucket, boat, sock, salsa, chip, whiskey, coke, candy, flowers, headstone, grave. I got a dirty shotgun, and I'm bringing them home to you. They grab your shirt and beat him in the head. If you don't like biscuits, be a cornbread. There's no way slam about half drum. Jump on a man like a dog on a bone. Like a dog on a bone. Gonna be a hood ornament in a second. Stay roller. Yeah, kick off your shoes. Stay roller. Shotgun, dirt, you got a thing and a shotgun, and I'm bringing home to you. Pick up, roto, you. I got a pickup and a proto, and I'm bringing home to you. Shovel, bucket, you. I got a shovel and a bucket, and I'm bringing home to you. Boots, socks, you. I got boots and socks, and I'm bringing them home to you. Roto, pickup, shovel, bucket, boot, sock, salsa, chip, whiskey, coke, candy, flowers, headstone, grave. I got a dirty shotgun, and I'm bringing them home to you. They grab your shirt and beat him in the head. If you don't like biscuits, be a cornbread. There's no way slam about half drum. Jump on a man like a dog on a bone. Like a dog on a bone. Gonna be a hood ornament in a second. Stay roller. Yeah, kick off your shoes. Stay wild. Take your glass off. Hang your head up.
Art.
Shotgun. Zerg. You got a Zerg and a shotgun. And I'm bringing home to you. Pick up. Proto. You. I got a pickup and a proto. And I'm bringing home to you. Shovel. Bucket. You. I got a shovel and a bucket. And I'm bringing home to you. Shot. You. I got boots and socks. And I'm bringing home to you.
I was going to switch off that camera shot when the armies stopped fighting there, but I'm sorry for the Family Guy level
Pick up.
camera work, but
Shovel. Bucket.
so let's see what the observer managed to put into all chat and why was it relevant. We will go back to that moment for a moment and see.
Candy. Flower. Headstone. Grave.
So somebody gave away critical information in all chat.
And I'm bringing home to you.
That's not. No, I actually want to know because apparently nobody had any gas, and then they took all of the gas. This was built 27 minutes, 24 minutes, 26 minutes, all for gas, which is worth noting, by the way. But also, maybe not in all chat as an observer. So that is what happened there. That is actually a huge investment. Jerzal, I mean, like, shout out to Jerzal for really just pointing out the important things in the game. This is my vengeance for you being like, you gotta cast Direct Strike yet? Alright, I'm casting Direct Strike, and so are you, in all chat, during the game. So, look at the guys. I wonder if anyone scanned.
Zerg. You got a Zerg.
Alright, well, Grumpy Kittens win the match. Putting him up 2-1. It did not change the outcome. Yeah, no. It was amusing, but it was trending a certain direction. Here we go. The Grumpy Kitten's up 2-1. Let's take a look. The rundown on the southern team with the Nexus. We do have Everyone Loves Joe, starting with the man everyone loves. It's Joe. He is Terran. Then Nedved, Terran. Agreed, Zerg, TTZ. And then on the other side, we have starting with Reapers, Triss. Another Terran, following it up, I'm Sucks. And then, with his overwhelming and ridiculous collection, it is a Zerg. For once. Mixing it up is ka-cha. Wow, you can actually avoid the cannon if you split well enough? Interesting. So no more Protoss. Get rid of Protoss. I do appreciate that these players have removed Protoss now. I never noticed the cannon shoots red bullet. Is it just like the color of whatever the first player is? And I just never noticed. There was a toss. The mothership is the builder skin. One of the many things you can get with Direct Strike Premium. Direct Strike Premium is just a... Like, if you want your base to look this ridiculous, you gotta get Direct Strike Premium. It doesn't give you any additional units or abilities or skill. But if this is what you like, and it does support Taya, the creator of Direct Strike. What am I watching? Mutas? Mutas! In my Direct Strike? Ugh. All right. It's time for the real battle, though. You know the battle. Wait for it. He won. Alright, he danced better. Probably because one player had a Liberator, so that cost money. Well, I guess the Liberator wins, but... Oh, this is an interesting fight. Are there any upgrades? So, in straight-up Muta versus Muta, Carapace upgrades are better because it reduces more damage than attack upgrades add. But that's in, like, the stats are the same as multiplayer, but the attack upgrades obviously help against other units. Especially, ideally, your Mutas are not actually tanking, so it is kind of a weird balance. Okay. Oh wait, the bunker's so damaged. I forgot I turned it into cinematic. Are they... What? 420 bunker kill. Forgot I had cinematic. I didn't even realize. I'm like, it's burning. They killed the bunker. Everyone loves Joe. I need a sec to fix sound. We don't wait for anyone here. Sound cue is very important. Actually, like, just hearing things. Yeah, we're ready. The kittens fight back. The grenades coming in from the right flank. So with the cannon bonus, they still haven't tried. Wow. Phoenix is looking ridiculous here. The Liberators obviously win the fight against the Reapers. There are some Marines now. This is happening. I don't... The Liberators actually using their anti-air attack, which I remember when Liberators countered everything but buildings. There was a toying with actually... Oh my god. The Reaper grenades. the Reaper grenades. That's all I have to say about that. 1-1 for both sides. Very important for Terran armies. 1-1 for these Reapers. A Venn diagram of freedom. Yeah, the Liberator, I mean, as time goes on, Liberators gain value. We all know this. Oh, beautiful anti-armor. The Ravager fights. Oh, it's gonna get hot and heavy. The bile raining down like a particularly bad college hangover. Oh, God. And twice as messy, arguably. It really depends. More grenades. May contribute to the whole image, yes. Gotta be careful with the rotating the camera too much now that I'm thinking about it. The Liberators are a problem. The Liberators are... There's no counter to the Liberators. The Zerg waves are essentially equal, and there's Liberators. This is getting out of hand. Like, this obviously favors the team... Oh god, the Corrosive Biles from Agreed. They missed. The wave missed! A little behind the mark. Oh god, the stack. This is very bad. This is, about as clear-cut. Huge fungal wombo combo! Oh! Oh my.
Happy feet! Wombo combo! That ain't Falco! That ain't Falco! Where you at? Where you at?
There goes the cannon. Is fungal into anti-armor missile into Liberator is quite a combo. And there is no, like, they have the same units. They have access to the same units. They just have less of them, unfortunately. The fungals actually holding on to them for the next wave. So confident. Oh god. Not again. Not again. Let's see it. He doesn't quite get a second fungal, but the damage is dealt. A second fungal would just kill the Reapers. I'm not sure where the comeback mechanic is now. So this is the interesting thing, is since now they're both exactly the same races, it feels like there's a lot less comeback mechanic. Like, if they could literally build the exact same units, but more and better of them, I guess it comes down straight up to micro. And right now, there's not that much micro potential. Oh my, as I say it, the Corrosive Bile is almost outright killing the Mutas, but almost is not killing. He switched his bio to the left side. He switched to the other side, which is a clever move, but unfortunately, units turn pretty quick. I think it did a little better. He wasn't really expecting it. But not nearly good enough. I guess that's something. Oh. It's Reaper, Liberator, Raven. Direct Strike is where you go to have fun, and with strategies that you could never make work in multiplayer. But with the same units as multiplayer. And in theory, with like 8,000 APM, this would be a great composition. All right, another round of bio. Shotguns out the bios. That actually, the fungal didn't really make a difference there. I'm not even sure if it landed. I assume it did. But remember, this whole time, MIG control has gone to the Grumpy Kittens. That means just more income for the same units. Oh, anti-armor missiles targeting the back line, getting everything. Beautiful missiles. Oh, I mean, the Ravagers will still win underneath, but... A fungal. Another fungal? Give it to me. The cooldown, there's a cooldown on fungal. But it cooled down a lot of... Oh no, battle cruisers. He sold everything for cruisers. Is it... Uh-oh. There's not... Tactical jump. Are you sure, sir? If we lose that, we no longer will... We will lose the game. Retreat! You could see what he was trying to do. Unfortunately, there was a little bit too much damage out of the bio army as he jumped out. And they started to target the Nexus. It was a little too close for comfort. Take us out of orbit. We're moving out. You're not just gonna leave it. You can't do this! Well, that puts the Grumpy Kittens on match point. Which means... we do... have to get a quick advertising break and thank our sponsors as well. So if you guys could pause ad block, I hope you've enjoyed the GDSL. No more love, Joe. It's Joe's fault. Somehow this is all Joe's fault. But I'll be right back. One moment. Thank you for watching. Hey everybody, I'm Winter, and I'm here to talk to you. Yes, you, who's fallen asleep 2 hours into this video. You made it this far. Congratulations! So, why haven't you smashed that like button? Yes, I know it's on full screen. Don't be lazy. If you want to be lazy, you should try out amazing games like Direct Strike, Commanders. Because with Direct Strike, you have all the excitement and strategy of playing StarCraft with somewhat less stress. It really depends on who you're playing with. But it's absolutely free, unless you want to support the creator of amazing games that are more finished than AAA games of the year right now, Taya, and everyone else on the arcade, but also especially Taya. But is that... I don't even know if that's how you say it, alright? But you get the idea. That's supportive. So, Direct Strike, available on a StarCraft 2 arcade near you. Though probably mostly NA and EU, which is probably statistically near you. So we're back to the first point. You can play today. Most of the players will be nice if you say you're a noob, and help you learn how to play if you haven't learned enough already. Some of them will not, but that's just life, so deal with it. Direct Strike. It's an auto-battler for the thinking man. Direct Strike. StarCraft for someone who has more anxiety looking at the ranked button than their second marriage. Direct Strike. Try it today for absolutely free, like smashing the like button. Thank you, good luck, and good night. Thank you guys for sticking around. We're on match point of the GDSL, the Global Direct Strike League Finals. The Grumpy Kittens. One game away. They seem to be pulling away with it. The Zerg, they figured out how to counter the Zerg. I will say, Triss, I'm Sucks, and Kachar here. They figured out how to counter the Zerg by adding a Zerg. Protoss been removed. Nedvet is now last in line. Eskimo Joe second, both Terran, and then Agreed as Zerg. So we actually have a split here. That means that the Zerg waves will not be facing each other directly, necessarily. That is the only difference. Otherwise, it is a mirror matchup. So it's a ZTT versus TTZ. Yes, these are all things that mean things to people. Hydras. Hydras slithering menacingly across the field. Well, it kind of depends on the wave spawns, because that means if... It does depend on exactly how the game plays out, but technically, the waves that match each other don't exactly match up. The Corrosive Biles, okay. The amount that the damage depends on... You can really feel when the Corrosive Biles don't land, because they one-shot Marines and Reapers. So, the Grumpy Kitten's already off to a pretty strong start. They have control of mid. A full wave of Reapers. Of Reaper Marine Marauder, rather. I don't... There's like 3 Reapers. That's actually the minority quantity. Oh no. A fungal. And throws it out. It is on a cooldown, but the grenades knock the Infestor. They knock the Hydras behind the Infestor. So that way the units will target that. What a play. Very clever moves. Oh, and staggering the Corrosive Biles landed across the board this time. Oh, wow. You can really tell the difference. Beautiful Corrosive Biles. He wins the fight. It's 100% down to the micro. Wow, beautifully done. Like, and that turns the tide. That the team will push. He's killed so much with that. Almost 2 waves. The auto turrets on top of the bunker as well. A couple Infestors. Interesting scan. Just wants to make sure he knows what's coming. Throws the fungals out on either side. If he could get a 3rd fungal. Oh, it's gonna be... particularly angry balloon pop there. A 3rd fungal will be devastating. It's all on Agreed here with the Corrosive Biles. He's gotta land them. It's very hard to do reliably. Even if you know which direction the units are gonna go. He has +2 Carapace. His attacks aren't that important compared to the Biles. Oh, targeting the Raven actually gets it. He's really getting his money's worth on those Ravagers. +1 armor against 0-0 Marines. +1 armor Liberators. Oh, but the Ravens... They throw the auto turrets in the midst. They don't have collision with the turrets. Otherwise it'd be... Microbial Shroud against the Liberators for the Hydras. I say it like a news article. More at 11. I can't believe with this one quick trick, not just dying to Liberators. The Microbial Shroud definitely saved the bunker there. But the Ravagers easily clean up if he... Oh, he's gonna get it. Everyone loves Joe. Enough corrosive biles, but still save some for the bio. Bile and bio are very hard to say back to back. Important to note. Making sure... This is why we turn on Show Flyer Helper in gameplay options, by the way. I do want to just a bonus for everyone. That way, because you need to aim at where the air unit is on the ground, not at where they are in the air. Because if you do that, you'll miss, because you're actually aiming behind it. Perspective. This is an AoE 4, okay? Microbial Shroud actually making the difference. It takes 3 Liberator hits to kill a Hydra with Microbial Shroud, as opposed to 2. I think the Carapace actually kicks in and makes it 3. I'm not 100% if the upgrades are making the difference as well there, but I choose to believe they are. The Banelings? Oh, wow. Banelings getting involved. Corrosive Vials. The Ravens, though, being targeted. There's a lot of bio underneath. Making a lot of progress. But the auto turrets are starting to turn the tides here. And without the Ravagers to help against the Zerg wave, Fungals are still going to be very dangerous. Microbial Shroud with anti-R. A lot of spells interacting that you don't usually see. The Microbial Shroud definitely making an impact on the Liberator damage, but is it worth more than a Fungal? Probably, and also there's a cooldown on each of them, I believe. So, once again, we're kind of theory crafting live a little here. Some Banelings absolutely crash through the bio. 1, 2, 3. And then the Liberator will be handled by the Mutzas. Very hard to aim at this bio army. He gets damage on everything, but kills nothing. Besides a handful of Marines. It's starting to feel like the Ravagers, much like in multiplayer, not really a late game unit. Unfortunately. Gets another couple Ravens. Microbial Shroud across the board. Oh, a juicy set of biles. You gotta be careful not to stack the Liberators up too much. And clearing the field. By the way, Ravagers out here for Kachar as well. Adding them to deal with the Liberators. Clears them out immediately. Anti-armor missile underneath. One Liberator scramble, but anti-armor missile very important in these Marine versus Marine fights. Huge damage increase. Well, there go the Marines. Banelings doing a pretty great job. Corruptor added in. Anything to help deal with the, everybody loves Joe. Pushing in the Planetary is getting involved. And there's no way they're actually going to push the base. The Ravagers, they still look very good. The Banelings look very good, but Banelings can only attack once. Is a classic conundrum. Fungals, oh my god. The Corrosive Vial on top of the Fungals locks them down, knocks them out. Another round of Biles with the Ravens overhead. There's not that much actual ground DPS here, but... Banelings almost hitting Ravagers. The grenades, oh god, the Banelings are dying like Clems here. A wave of Corrosive Vial, but this time with 3 Liberators on the back line. Triss's army survives. The center line is retaken. I think the Zerg army isn't getting the, just like in multiplayer, Banelings are a very mid-game unit. Like, they're either at the very end when you just need a better army, or to achieve an objective. But the longer you have them, the less value they get. Of course, Direct Strike is a little different. But air armies are the order of the day. Well, corrosive biles. The wombo combo here. Just knock it. Look, the Liberator's just sitting there. All they can do is watch and be sad. I guess they don't have to be sad, but they're probably sad. The Ravagers coming in. The Liberators are so well spread, it's impossible to get corrosive biles on them. Do they have advanced ballistics? No, he doesn't have tier 3. Wait, does he? That looks like quite a... Yeah, he does. Yeah, what am I saying? That's definitely advanced ballistics. Oh my. The turrets have to fight it out, and then the manpower gets involved. The nearly complete scramble. Ravens warring for control. The longer they survive, the more spells they get out. All right, here comes the Zerg wave. The Corruptors helping with the Liberators. The Liberator count thinned out enough that the Ravagers survive. Banelings into Ravagers isn't the ideal target. The Ravager upgrades +1, +2 against +3, +1 bio. Just tearing through it, and the cannon is next. I don't think there's any saving it. Is there enough that... Wait, the Thor's not on it. The Thor's not on it. The Thor got distracted by the auto turrets. Goddamn Thors. It's like that Tychus mission. Alright, here's a wave of Ravagers. But the Ravens got cleared. And that is a key part. The Ravens on either side adding a whole lot. Microbial Shroud. The real killer. Ravagers. Unloading. The greater Ravager count from Everybody Loves Joe. Not enough to deal with the Terran. There was another Microbial Shroud and a Fungal. Down goes the cannon. And it was already trending towards the Grumpy Kittens. Now it's going to be even worse / better, depending on which one you're a fan of. The Liberator Raven on either side. There's so many Liberators. If you can get them stacked up enough so multiple biles hit. The Microbial Shroud, though, what a choice. Wow. That bile wave. It doesn't one-shot Ravagers, but it's most of the It's 60 damage. A Ravager is 120 HP. I'm not a mathematician, but it doesn't take too many hits to kill. It looks like some pushback. Joe's army, Thors with +2 armor, Liberators as well, of course, as well as the Corruptors from Agreed, starting to make their way towards the center line. The Liberators need to survive long enough for another round of support. Oh yeah, this time, where are the scrambles? Half the Ravens not really using their spells. Dropping the ball a bit. And that means the Liberators will grind through the ground army. Another round of Liberators. They're very stacked, though. The 2 or 3 Liberators hit per corrosive bile. Fungal on the Banelings, grenades on the rest. Yeah, the corrosive biles are just not finding the mileage. They're not taking meaty enough chunks. More grenades. everything at arm's reach with Liberators. This time there's enough to scramble. The Liberator's locked down. More progress. A whole lot of Ravens from I'm Sucks. Doing pretty well. Not sucking here at all. Besides that one wave when he didn't use his energy. Oh, those Liberators are way too stacked. Oh my. Let me see it. Let me see it! Knock him down! Oh, with Parasitic Bomb. Oh, very cathartic. There are some Ultras here that are going to get the best of the Zerg. But, oh my god, Parasitic Bomb on the Mutas. And there they go. The army is holding. Liberators and Thors are pretty good at stacking up. They don't move very fast across the field. And they all kind of move at the same speed, but just general. Liberators, well spread, but now locked down. That is some Raven energy. No anti-armor missile yet. There's one coming out. The Thors. Whittled down. But Nedved's army. Not even able to survive. Now it's all three armies. Wait, am I lying? Yes, a little. It looked like it might be all three, but it didn't end up that way. Parasitic Bomb on the Liberators. Another one. Gonna clean them out. The air war continues as the ground war is being fought. The Grumpy Kittens continue to win. On both fronts. With similar units. It is very difficult. You really need some good waves back to back to back. What are the upgrades? +3 armor, +1 attack. +3, +0. For Nedved, +3, +2. The unit positioning at base. Several waves to stagger splash. All at the front. All at the front. Here we have mostly at the front with a little stagger to come around as the fight starts, but the Ultras are chewing through on the ground. They do have chitinous plating. Suddenly, wait a second. Well, Ultras 4 armor, 2 armor. The Liberators and Thors don't care very much. The air army keeping things intact, and the auto turrets auto cast means they won't get their maximum damage. The Liberators from range whittling down the Thors. Ravens as well. Could easily scramble. Holding on to a lot of energy here. Anti-armor missile, both sides. Maybe some toggle on the auto turrets. No, a lot of Ravens dying with energy. But not so much that the Zerg cleanup crew isn't going to make a difference. All the Liberators stacked up is making them incredibly vulnerable to the Wombo combo here. They really need to be spread out. The Corrosive Biles, well, more importantly, the Parasitic Bomb and the Fungals. This is an interesting fight. Give Vipers water balloons. I think that would be a good change. Actually, though. Like, they should have a meaningless auto attack so they don't fly into things in multiplayer. The Liberators, there's not that many ground targets. And by that I mean, there's not that many valuable ground targets. The Thors are what they want to hit, but they're not getting through the bio in time. I'm not sure how you come back from here. The Grumpy Kittens seem to be holding them firmly. Gently yet firmly. On the other side of the line. They've gotten 1 gas apiece. It's 1 gas for everyone but Nedved, actually. So the income's about even plus the center line, so... More auto turrets. I'm just not seeing, unless we're gonna see like a cell into battle cruiser kind of play, which would not be very good when this many Ravens are already on the field. They're just trying to lean on the Liberators. The Ultras may touch the center line and be driven back immediately. A few Banelings got involved. The Corrosive Biles peppering the Thors. Not nearly enough. Wow, that Liberation. This might be a time for the Javelin missiles. Though Liberators still worthy of the single target pounding through. Yeah, the high impact mode definitely. Javelin missiles are for mutas, and that's it. The explosive version of the Thor anti-air. The high impact is way too good against everything else. The fact that this time the Zerg army is meeting outside the Nexus, as opposed to midfield, I think should be very clear is a very bad sign. It will clear the ground, but the Ultras will evaporate. Widow Mines are there to help clear out the front line. The Thors pounding through. The Liberators will not be allowed to stack. Even a Widow Mine hitting them. Ugh. Interestingly, no Liberators from Imsex. I think he actually has... Oh, he has none. I don't know if he had one some at some point and sold them, or if that was a different game. They're all starting to blend together. We need new maps! No, Direct Strike is always the same. Though the map changes sometimes with the seasons. More often than SC2 itself. So, moving on. The Ultras just obliterated by the firing. I don't remember this. The Heart of the Swarm cinematic seemed a little more one-sided than that. And for the other side. But apparently they should have brought Thors instead of tanks. Classic mistake. Big-ass robots are how you counter big-ass bugs. That was a solid scramble across the board on the Thors. Here come the Zergs. Crashing into one another. The fact that Zerg can fight Zerg here. They're right on the Nexus. All the spellcasting hitting multiple sets of units. Corrosive Biles. The Ultras will chew through the ground, but the air. No Liberator stacking. Barely any Corruptors. The Terran firing line just chunking up the Ultras. Some snipes as well. You heard the ghosts in the back line. EMP, not bad against Ravens. Another Terran army. This time doesn't even need the scrambles. Oh my. This has been the most methodical march. No, wrong button. Though, wouldn't change much. It's getting closer. The Nexus is taking some incidental damage. The corrosive vials are almost in range. Fungal's hitting everything. The grumpy kittens are knocking on the door of victory, and right now, everyone loves Joe. A meek answer. As the Liberators won't even necessarily stop the units from hitting the Nexus. The Widowmine's helping. Just a few more seconds on the next wave. But the Thors and Liberators get cleared up. No opportunity to stack. The Nexus isn't adding enough damage at this stage of the match. Widowmine's a desperate move. They're holding. They actually push out. Liberators will survive a little longer. Microbial Shroud on the front. If the Zergs can get there in time, the Liberators adding any damage. And we're back to the Terran lines. The Thors will fight it out. It does seem like we're kind of... They're starting to push back. It's happening. Okay, well. And then the Viking count is way too high. Way too many Vikings. Enough Vikings that the Thor, like, you can't really scramble them anymore. And the Zerg army just crushes, just eats up the ground. Microbial Shroud to help with the Ultralisk. The Ultras always win. Whoever has more Ultras seems to win the fight. Right up until Thors get involved. And then the Thors win the fight. Jesus. Thors with so much damage on the ground that they, that it doesn't matter how much armor your units have. And that is why they're such a great counter in high numbers to Ultras. I'm at this point, the circles of Liberators sieging and unsieging is like hypnotizing me. I will say, this has been a lot of direct strike. It is a fun game. Though maybe, it is definitely a game you should play. I don't know about spectating hours on end, to be honest. It all starts to blend together. I mean, it's not like the units are very far apart here. Yes, this is definitely... We're approaching Age of Empires levels of finals here. Goddamn Turtle Terrans. Yeah, the tanks struggle because of the siege-unsiege. Liberators are just better siege tanks in almost every way. Because you don't really need splash damage. You have a lot of forms of splash damage. I mean, I'll be honest, I thought tanks were good, but it's the Liberators have a lot more micro potential as well. And they force a much stronger response. The Vikings will go behind the Nexus and land. Widowmine Siege Tank seems to be a more potent composition here. But here comes the Zerg army. Vikings land. I think he's giving him advice as opposed to giving everyone a knowledge bomb right there. But I'm pretty sure he had Vikings taken off auto transformation. They just found out they can land. I'm pretty sure I've seen a cinematic with them landing. Okay. I do choose to believe at this point that I'm Sucks has now been notified that Vikings can land, though. Alright? His teammate coming through with the important knowledge. Bestowing it upon him. Yep, and he lands them. I mean, they don't last very long on the ground. Doesn't really have an effect. Vikings. Land. Not sure. That was it. One guy said it in Allies. Nedved. Like, in just a completely independent commentary. It's a meme because every time they land, they die for no reason anyways? Is that why? They're almost always more valuable as something to keep the wave back in the air and taking damage, as opposed to a land unit. One game someone didn't land and lost? Oh, even better. Mine was too logical. The Nexus. They're losing the ground. The battle continues. As kind of is the entire game. But it's thinning out. The Nexus is not even able to regenerate shields. Oh, the next wave is so far out. The caustic spray! The shields are down! The spray is burning through! Will enough corruptors live? Son of a bitch! Is that a... Oh, a lurker! I think the lurker was looking for the win. No! The amount of scrambles just disables half the army, so the full army can wipe out the rest. Widow mines are a bit of a desperation move to hold the line. I think I said that the first time, but it's still holding the line, isn't it? Here it is. Here's the line. It's being held, but the tanks unsiege. I think they just finished the next tier. Spray! And that could be it! Your Global Direct Strike League champions! The Grumpy Kittens! Triss, I'm Sucks, and Kachar taking home the prize money, the pride money, and the knowledge, as well as the screams of adoring fans. We'll highlight this Direct Strike League. Congratulations to the Grumpy Kittens. May they remain grumpy and kittens. And good luck going forward. Congratulations. Like and subscribe if this ends up on YouTube and you made it this far. Credit to you. Maybe you skipped to the end just to see how it ends. Go back. Or not. Your choice. And go play some Direct Strike. Thank you for watching. Good luck. Have fun. Stay chill.